All right, good evening. So for those who don't know me, I'm CJ. Traded with Justin in the past, and with this group specifically, um, and finding some more free time as I start turning over into a new line of work, which will be trading full time. I was talking to Justin about getting back into the group a little bit more active, posting some trades, and be kind of on the sidelines, watching the group grow. Pretty impressed with everyone's input, but thought it was time for me to step in and see if I can help contribute to the growth of the group and then help any traders. So first and foremost, thanks to those who reached out and welcome back. I just wanted to kickstart this whole thing with a I'm gonna say quick video, but I know in the past some of them have run pretty long, so I'm gonna keep this one as short as I can. I wanted to cover a few things. One is uh, the watch list moving into next week. So I'll talk through some earnings, some economic data coming out, and then I wanted to turn into like, hey, this is the trade I'm going to take. This is why entry exit if it doesn't go in favor. Um, and then kind of close it with more of an educational psychology sort of thing that I've found pretty helpful trading. For me personally, I'm more of a futures trader and forex before I trade options. But I do trade options on a weekly basis, more or less swing. I don't really scalp options as much as I lean more to trading futures intraday and as well as scalping. So I think when more towards the end of the year, I'll be doing live uh, like recording sessions with an invite to you guys where we'll come out and I'll trade specifically the NQ, and I've traded a ton of strategies using supply and demand, book map, footprints, you name it. I've probably done it. So if you have any questions, if you have your own trading style, feel free to hit me up. We can talk through it. I can see what you've done and try to help finesse it. But I think as a group, we work together. We ought to grow together and get better at trading, be better traders, help supplement income or just whatever you like or whatever your goals are. So, with that being said, I'm going to dive right into the Sunday watch list. If you wanted a pause video, I have all the tickers that I'm watching over here on the right with the three ETFs that I'll keep an eye on between the Q, SPY, and the IWM. And I'll go through a couple of these stocks. We'll go through all, just the ones I've favored. And then turn this kind of into a charting session. I'll pause it here and there so you're not like watching me chart, 15 different stocks. But I think any of these stocks here on the right have some potential to move, specifically a couple of the ones that have earnings this week that are a little higher market cap stocks. So I'll point those out, and then at the end, I'll let you know what trade I really like and why. Um, so right now, I have the E-mini and Q pulled up for the futures. Scroll down. Saw a little bit of a dip down when it opened up this evening a few hours ago, but has recovered from this zone and finding some nice bullish legs to the upside, which is good. You can see just from a 4 hour chart, we've extended quite a bit, especially after the debt ceiling news came out, and then but nonetheless, we're not going to dive too much into NQ. If there's anyone interested in trading NQ London sessions, I'll be happy to get up with y'all and take a couple trades. Again, that's 3 a.m. East Tuesday. All right, so the way I'll show you kind of how I chart first, and then I'll pause the video and I'll show you kind of how I have the charts marked up. So I'll walk you through the first one. I'm just going to do Meta. I like Meta this week. I've shown a lot of bullish momentum off earnings, and really all the top stocks in the Nasdaq have really shown pretty good uptick in the last 2 weeks or so. So with that being said, I'll kind of walk through with what I'm looking for and how I mark off key areas. When I do this, it's specifically supply and demand. Most of you guys, if you've been around trading, trade supply and demand, you probably know how to do it. I'll show you how I do it. It's I do them off supply and demand off like the order blocks, um, kind of how ICT would teach it. So I'll give you a basic rundown on it, and then I'll skim through the rest of these, um, so it saves everyone a little bit of time. So for me, if I'm drawing out supply and demand, I'm looking at key levels. I don't trade the white noise in between it. I wait until it comes into an area that I like. I'll give you a quick one off the bat. So if I'm watching supply and demand, this pullback before we have a run up is the supply zone that's built. So obviously a 4-hour zone, we'll see this level, the price will come back into this level on a smaller time frame, and we'll get confirmation on entry. And you know, 9:30, we saw this thing kick off on 2 weeks ago, and it has a stop since. So we'll go into it like this. I'll mark off some key zones, and then we'll look into a couple areas that I'd like to you guys to kind of mark on your map. The dream view is what I use specifically. Wherever your screen is, mark it off, the zones, uh, and we'll keep a close eye. I'll go ahead and pause it here, and then I'll get it set up for charting. All right. So diving right into meta. So you have to look really far back in 22 to find any sort of resistance levels for meta. There's a massive gap. I remember this one Bruce Earns didn't come out, and I mean, this is the time the whole market was kind of taken. So there's a potential upside if we continue to break higher than 275. So keep an eye on this one. This might be a play for next week, and I'll pull up some indicators that'll help show me how this one will work as well. So we'll drop down into a lower time frame. I'll start with the hour. We'll zoom out quite a bit. I'm just going to look at some key resistance zones. So I have some target points if we do take this long. So, so obviously this big gap is, everyone talks about gaps usually get filled, right? So we know that this gap through here could potentially see price move up through 320. So obviously this is a fairly significant move up if we do get that push higher. Some other key areas I'm going to keep an eye on. Can't really call this resistance zone because it was basically taken out. So anytime price kind of comes through the area, this is what you end up getting. The earnings is pretty bad on that, and it just broke right through. So this is why I'm not as strongly convinced about taking this thing long, outside of just seeing, just kind of lining up on the bullish demand on that here. If we were to throw out the indicators, we have using in-house indicators, we could see we had some buy signs illuminated as this indicator here is told us to buy. We could see a potential pullback into what we call a breaker. So this was an area of resistance at one point. Let's see here. Now this would be your breaker. So if we were to pull back into 260, 270 level, we could see some of these fair value gaps and some of these levels hold if we would take it long. So if we are going to take it long, you either want to take it on a breakout. So you take it on a breakout above this level. And then we can pull back into it. We'll have basically two different options. So if the price does break through it, we want to see really good displacement. We don't want to see it break down below. We don't want to see it dip higher and then come back. That would just be a sign of liquidity grab from the top side here. We want to see this thing really push through higher and then pull back. This here, if we get a nice displacement above 275, it needs to close well above it. And then this would be the potential confirmation to drop down into a lower time frame to take this thing long. So I would put an alert on this guy at this level, and I would look to take this long if we get that breakout. But again, the key here is to not watch it come up into the level, and this is where everyone gets faked out. And this is kind of like the psychology of trading: is it goes way up and it comes way back down. Right? How many people get faked out on this, and then it drops right down into a breaker, and then this puppy goes home, right? So, a kind of a key strategy for most people trading these balance breakouts is you'll typically see if it's going to break out long, you'll see it look below. So everyone's thinking that it's 50-50 go up or down. It's going to wiggle in this box, and then all of a sudden it's going to look way below and look at some of this fair value gap that we have below. It might not go all the way down, but we should see a retracement out of this balance zone before it comes up, and then continues its mark up. So we can put an alert on the low side here. I would ideally, this is a trade. You have a pullback, fill some of the liquidity below it, and then takes that higher. There's look through the liquidity below this balance before it pushes higher. The next step that we can have is we could see a nice displacement above the recent high, and then a pullback into the balance zone before we get higher. So that's so one of these three could happen, and if we have any sort of negative impact news, and I'll get into the economic data coming up, we will see a nice move higher. It will close, but it will look something like this. So as we're moving forward, we really want to focus on how price acts outside of this balance zone. So keep note of this balance zone, but really we focus at 275, and then if we break out of this balance zone, about 270, I'd say anything lower than 270 or 50, keep an eye on that. Whatever happens first, we'll pay attention to it. It's not an immediate entry, but it will tell us that, hey, this thing is either going to pull down everyone's stop losses before it moves higher. And then as it comes up higher, we want to see how it acts and displaces above these highs. We also don't want to pull back out of the area, back into through the balance zone to where trips stop losses, something to get long is way up, trips those guys out again, and then shorts. So basically a liquidity sweep on both the buy side and the high side, and then continues to fire. So again, there's a lot of price action and for Meta in the next couple of days. But as I'm watching this thing, there is good potential for a couple of these key areas, especially the balance zone that we have built up here. That's tied in with our breaker. And for those who like big retracements, it would make sense that it would move into this breaker, fair balance zone, into your Fibonacci full zone between that 50 and that 61.8. So we have multiple confluences tied together saying that the price could potentially pull back. We want to keep an eye on this because we want to get caught in a long position when the price is pulling down here and we get a better entry. And we'll get into this more. We'll still talk about strategy and psychology of trading, but this is you can have an entry at your 50 and then target hires. Either at a 1 or 2 risk reward, and by keeping a long position here and getting stopped out here just to see the balance off the 50. So again, it goes at a projected where you think price might go, and put yourself in a position where you're speculating prices will go higher. Well, where do I enter? I'm going to feel like an entry down here and a potential stop down here. So we'll get into this towards the end of the video, but I just wanted to show you kind of the one stock that I'm looking at right now would be Meta, just based on how it's set up. I love these balance zone breakouts, but it takes a lot of patience, especially when you're looking at our hour time frame here. A lot of our indicators are saying hey, a little overbought. Got a couple EMA crossovers showing that price is starting to pull back. We're just going to see how it reacts when it starts breaking through the low side, see if we have any low sell side liquidity sweeps. All right, next ticker on the list is DocuSign. I like DocuSign. It's got potential to move this week as we have earnings on the 8th. So keep an eye and look out on DocuSign. It's a big stock, likes to move quickly, and we've seen in the past where earnings has proven that. So first thing to mark off here is this seller's hold level. So we know that this thing has held a few times in the past, and it's right through with this fair value gap off its as soon as prior to earnings back in early March. Keep an eye on this one. Usually when you have stock continuing to higher highs and higher lows, you're looking for a key entry on this stock. So the potential entry on this is you look at your low candle, and let's get to a different time scale, time frame. But we're looking at the low candle before we break structure. So we put our structure change here at 56.72, and we'll zoom down into the 45-minute time frame. So right now we have our money momentum going back out of our sell zone, or this is what we call buy zone, but for your sell entry positions. I don't want to take a short position just yet, and we can see we have some nice consolidation after pretty sizable breakout. So another stock I'm watching for earnings. I kind of want to see what it does through the week, and depending on how Tuesday looks, I will alert you guys whether I take this or not. But this is going to be one of the top 3 stocks to pay attention to. Well, next stock on the list is T-Cone. Same setup as DocuSign is we've come up to this level a few times and shown quite a bit of resistance. Depending on how we break through this key area, it would indicate me taking a long position. You can see we have a nice balance zone here. It's kind of what I'm talking about. Price kind of breaks out, retest that level before it moves higher. So whenever we take that initial breakout, that gives the alert to let you know and switch into a lower time frame, and then we can take this up. So as we get closer to Tuesday, we earnings is on the week. So earnings will be on the 7th. So earnings on the 7th. Watching this one continue higher or actually see rejection. I do like a long position on this one since we've had basically 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are third touch at this level. And whether or not price can break out, again, just looking for a clean flush above, pull back into it to hold, we can drop into a lower time frame and take a position long to potentially fill some of these other key areas. So if we're looking at order blocks, we're looking at a lot of people teach it differently. Let's say the last down candle, the last up candle before it goes down. The actual correct one would be the last couple candles. This would be your order block, and then we have that dramatic shift that breaks structure, right? So this is your structure shift. You go back in time and say, all right, this is the order block here, but this would be a good target for us is to take the long position off the bounce, stop loss below the low, and then target target this move. So not a drastically sizable move, but could be potential to continue to swing this stock as we break through these highs at 35. Right, another ticker on my list, I didn't have it in my watch list, but one that I'm watching out watch out for this next week is Fast. So another potential breakout stock, but being looking to take this position long over this area 55, 63. It is in a Sunday Watchlist right above it. But depending on how we displace above these levels, I'm looking for a pullback and then a run up. The next seller's order block would be closer to 50.7 up to 58.80. So just keep an eye out on Fast. I think we get a breakout. I'd like to see it push over 55.70. Just want to give me an alert. Let me know it's breaking out. I'll switch over to it, scale down into a small time frame, and potentially pick this one up. All right. Got two more on my watch list. This one's going to be Disney. Watching for basically 81.56 to hold. So we had a nice little breakout. We're looking for starting to sell the order block, so we have a potential to kind of shift down as we have this market momentum starting to shift a little bit back towards the sell side. But I am watching Disney this week as there's a potential for the breakthrough the sell order block here. High time frame to target a couple points higher. This one could be a shorter trade. We've had it for a couple of days. Doing a couple weeks out on the expiration date and give ourselves a little bit of time, but not have to put so much capital up farther out on our days. All right, last stock. So Mara. So the reason I picked up Mara was doing a little bit of research and I found Mara has its own options listed. I'll show you what I got there if anyone's curious, but I'm watching options flow for Mara and had a significant influx of capital on the 1150 strength in my region. It makes sense to me for potential breakout on Mara. Markets are looking bullish. We're basically trading in this range between 1050 and 860. So keep an eye out on Mara. This is one ticker I will look to enter based on how she breaks outside of this 1050. If it looks strong and a nice displacement above, then this is definitely one that I would jump on. And this is one that would follow the money. This one had a ton of money dumped into call options that expire on Friday. And this will those orders came in on Friday. So we're looking to take advantage of some fruit deals, some big players specifically. So if there's someone out there that there's something we got, to put the money in the Mara call options and let them get this straight. All right. So from every one of our stocks here that we took a look at in the last couple 20 minutes, the stock I like the most right now is Mara. I'll keep an eye on Mara. I'd also like Meta. So between those two tickers, I'm going to keep a close eye on as I'm day trading the NASDAQ. Keep a screen on Mara and Meta's price action. Again, if Mara breaks over, shows any sort of bullish push up through 1050, I'm thinking the 1150 falls for the 9 June strike, and as Meta breaks above 275, I'm going to take that one long for either a quick entry or trade, with the potential to swing it out a few days to see how it continues to rally up. The thing I like is we've all seen see SPY really push up out of the zone. The one thing I really like is we have IWM really breaking out of the zone here. So I think it's a good thing to see some of your larger ETFs that are kind of breaking out of the zone. But then on the backside, we have the small caps starting to break out as well. So good sign that we're in continuously bullish momentum. Um, we're leaning into the economic calendar. If you guys already have access to this, that's it for my Sunday Watchlist. But just wanted to post a couple things in here, some influences on tomorrow morning and this week's news and economic data. So that PMI, feel free to go to this website. If you don't know what these things mean, just more stars mean more impact. So between 9:45 and then 10 o'clock, we have PMI data coming out. This tells you pretty much what PMI is and how it impacts the market. Moving on for Monday, Tuesday, PLOP, Wednesday, same thing. Thursday, should see some volatility around 8:30 for the initial jobless claims, and then that should be it for the week. So really not a lot of economic data that's going to fluctuate the price. But the one big thing I'm really watching for earnings. So keep an eye on earnings tomorrow around 190. Earnings reports heavy in markets should see some volatility impact both pretty much any of the ETFs that we've watched. But that's really it. So keep an eye on the volatility, especially for Thursday, and then as well tomorrow. So the last thing we'll talk about is we kind of hinted a little bit with Meta, just go back to Meta, but it's this trading psychology, right? So the probably the best thing you could do if you're a new trader or old trader is continue to refine your trading psychology. And a lot of this plays into risk management. And it's seen a lot over the last decade when we've been trading. Is not a lot of people have the psychology to be consistently profitable traders, and a lot of it has to deal with their risk. That's in every group I've ever seen. Most traders that I talk to on a daily basis, weekly basis, they don't have the psychology to be consistent traders. And at the end of the day, what it really boils down to is you can control the psychology if you can manage the risk. And what that means is having a plan and understanding when you're going to put money towards the market and that trade does not go your way. If it doesn't go your way, that's fine. You're moving on, and you can move on. So cutting the losers, um, is key, but also be in a position to let them breathe a little bit. We talked a lot about Meta on the potential movements for this ticker. Is we have an idea that hey, this thing's in a bounce zone. We know this thing has some legs to continue higher as most of the market moves higher. But most people who they trade long position out of a what they call premium zone, so or discount zone. So one thing that I have learned over the last couple of years of trading is before you get into any trade, find out where your premium zone is, find out where your discount zone is. If the price is not in that area, do not buy. That should be the one and only rule you live by. So if you're looking at Meta, slap a retracement tool on your chart on high or low, and let me know. Like, hey, tell yourself, hey, did this thing pull back into a discount zone so I can take this thing long, right? So we have structure, it's bullish in nature, we have balance, and a potential for a pullback into some key areas. We've already seen some key areas get filled and some value gap and some of these imbalances are here to fill. So keep an eye on this. This right here is key to your success. This does price pull back into my gap. So as you're looking at stocks and how they break out, don't chase it. You need to pull back into a discounted zone, so anything below 50, bullish run, and does it fill some gaps? So you get some confidence of some continuance here between a couple strategies, between ICT stream model, between those supply and demand, and breaker this year. I mean, there's so many different things telling you that this is a buy, and most traders will try and catch the breakout and then immediately get stopped out. Where your smarter traders will wait for the price to pull back here. And the reason this plays so much into your trading psychology is if you have a great entry, and you can have a tight, you can manage your risk a little bit more, and you can target a little better because you have targets from previous price action. A lot of traders, and they'll catch yourself doing, I catch myself doing this, I'll will attempt to jump into a trade too late or too early in this case, especially if you enter the trade over here off the breakout, or targeting the next level highs. You have the massive pullback, troops everyone out, and then the smart traders will get in down here, and then just as the price launches into the target area. Part of your trading strategy should include what times you want to trade, how much you want to risk, how many contracts you want to buy, what stop loss, take profit, what it would take. A lot of these need to be identified prior to, and you can get all that before you even get into this market. So like for me, for instance, we know we have a fair value gap here. The break structure, we have a bullish order block here. We have a bullish order block here, and we have a structure break. So as you're watching this trade play out, price sweeps high, we know the price pulls back, and it sweeps pretty high through our recent highs. This to me shows continuous bullish movement. People will get in on this pullback here, and then it'll go in your favor a little bit, and then all of a sudden it dives back down into the imbalance that it left behind, this order block that it left behind, before it started breaking structure again to the high side. So knowing this happens 80% of the time in the trade, or 50% of the trade. So instead of getting in too early and then catching a small trade and risking a lot, wait for the price to pull back into your discount zone. We already know our discount zone is going to be back down in here between the 50 and the 61.8, which all lines up with our overblock and the imbalance left with the fair value gap. So we were just to wait for price to fall back into our zone, then we take it long. When we have a narrow risk, risking 92 ticks, and I could target the recent highs. So, and like I'm going to go in on 3 contracts. I have a potential to lose $200. That's my risk. Whether that's a mental stop loss or just a hard stop loss if you're playing futures, just you have to have this plan, and this will help you keep safe. So when the price does go against you and trips you here, you're not losing any money, you're not losing your mind. Most importantly, I'm going to start posting some more educational videos on trading psychology and risk management, because those are 2 of the key fundamentals to trading. Everyone knows how to plot the orders. The problem with traders is they don't get the right entry. When they get to do it too soon or too late, you have to find a happy medium, and I truly believe that if you had a better trading plan that ties in with some major trading psychology, you'll be far more consistent with trading, and you're less likely to build accounts or lose a large chunk of your portfolio. So again, I feel like the video now is heading at 30, 35, 36 minute time, but feel free to hit me up on Discord. I'm back. I still have a full-time job for the next 7 months or so. But as far as questions, and still I'll be filming all those. If you have questions about developing a trading plan, a trading strategy, or if you want some individual tutelage, I have no problem jumping on Discord live and doing recaps. And again, this is just for those individuals in our VIP room. So if you've paid in and you're in, you got this. I'll upload this into YouTube, and it'll be basically a link just to our members. So just for you guys. So if you have any questions, let me know, and then I'll keep a close eye on a couple of these stocks as we progress through the week and let you know when I decide to get into Meta or Mara. All right, see you tomorrow.